to be here, but also to be in this community, to serve here. And Lord God, I believe that you place each and every one of us in the place where you desire for us to serve, to be a voice, to be a change. I just ask that you would be here this morning throughout the discussion in this meeting. I just pray for fellowship. I just pray, Father God, for unity. Ultimately, that you would bring together the like-mindedness that you would desire from each and every one, that we would set aside our own thoughts and our own desires to be open and mindful of those that we may serve. In fact, that's the position that you put us in many times, is to be a servant. So I just pray, Lord God, that our minds would be open to how we can better serve in this community that we live, that we can make it a better community, and that we can make changes in the people that we're involved with, the people that surround us, and the positions that you place us in. We love you, Father God, and we thank you for all that you've done and all that you continue to do. Help us, Lord God, to be obedient to that leading. Help us to always be open-minded, to be able to listen and to hear, and that our hearts would be open and obedient to that change. We love you and we thank you. And it's in Jesus' name that we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thanks, Adam. Appreciate it. All right, got the meeting minutes from the last meeting of November 22nd. The gentleman had a chance to look those over.
Yeah, I didn't see any changes.
Anything? Look for a motion to approve.
I so moved.
Got a motion by Nathan Gabhart.
Second.
Second by Ron Arnold. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, got the highway department. Chris, morning. There was no highway meeting this morning.
Papers here. First thing, I got a couple LPA invoice vouchers, the final from the rural water and the construction inspection for Kennelberg Road from Lockmiller.
I like that paper on it, says rural water, final billing.
Yeah, them are nice to get the final buildings.
All right, we got two LPA claim vouchers here. First one's from rural water, Daviess County Rural Water on Odin-Canterbury Road, relocation in the amount of $13,870.46 with 80% reimbursable of $11,096.37. Second LPA claim voucher is for Lockmiller Group, Phase 4 of Odin-Canterbury Road, in the amount of $38,683.19 with 80% reimbursable of $30,946.55. You guys have any questions with either one of those?
I do not.
If not, like look for a motion to approve both LPA claim vouchers.
So moved.
A motion by Nathan Gabhart,
Second.
second by Ron Arnold. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Go ahead, Chris.
Okay, don't really have anything today. We're getting ready to get our equipment ready for snow, or we've been in the process of getting our equipment changed over from our summertime jobs to getting them ready for wintertime jobs. Patching some holes in the beds of the trucks and getting our plows on and making sure they're working and our spinners are working and stocking our salt and sand buildings.
Yep.
So that's about all I've got on that. The only thing I've got, I was going to add under projects, is with the coal mine here. We got Ed Hartsburg and Matt Eubler with the REO and they had been advertising to mine through 200 North.
Right.
And I think they'd like to come up and ask for, if you guys have any questions about it, or if we want to proceed with that or not. I know one thing Nathan had asked at one of the commissioners' meetings was getting the right-of-ways
Right.
done. And we got looking into it, and we have 25-foot of right-of-way already on that. Some of it was from 1999, somewhere around there, and some of it was from 1878. But we went ahead and got all the right-of-ways updated. There is 2 parcels that we don't have updated yet. One of them's a Barber and one of them's a Bowman, but I believe Bowman is that Solar Sources now? And we haven't been able to get in contact with them yet, but I don't think we'll have any problems. And
We got recorded right away at 25.
yeah, we've already got the recorded right away, but
We were just trying to update them, yeah.
we were trying to update them since we were looking into it. So we've got everybody else signing it and agreed to it. I don't know if Matt and Ed want to come up here and we want to ask some questions about that.
Yeah, that'd be fine. Morning, gentlemen. Ed, just state your name again.
Yeah, I'm Ed Hartsberg with REO and Matt Ubalor. You know, we came before your board, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 weeks ago, discussed mining through and closing, having a crossing of County Road 200. We published it for the one time a week for a month in the paper. I think there has been some questions about the surety bond that the state holds, and at this time we're coming before the board for that petition, decree, and signing of the road agreement.
Like I said, I talked to Chris about this a little bit before yesterday. Is 200 North favorable for me to close? Not really, but I know we need to do business in the county, right? So I'm agreeable to go forward as long as we could sure to get that road put back. I think with the bond surety, we get the road put back 100%. Because you guys got 3 years of at least 3 years of coal sold, right? And you're figuring about a year and a half to
Yeah, we've got
year and a half to 2 years to get that road put back. So I think the road's going to get put back.
And I think we're still within that 9 months, unless I'm wrong here, Matt. I still think we're within that 9 months before we would be actually going through the road.
Road, yeah.
But we've got, in that time, we've got 9 months to move the utilities,
Right.
okay? So, I mean, it's kind of critical that we get this moving right now.
Yeah. At this point in time, I would be agreeable to close the road and let them mine through it. I think we get the road put back, whether or not we ever get the pits put back or not, but you know, that's up to the landowner and their leases, so, I'm fine with it, but let you guys speak.
Well, I appreciate you coming up to County Highway, and we met a month and a half ago probably. And again, I don't want to lose the road, but I understand the economic impact, jobs that it provides. At that time, I'd ask you to get with Mr. Schwartzentruber, and I want to play all the possibilities. Say you open that pit up, it's 200 foot deep, and you go bankrupt.
Right.
Does that bond take care of putting the road back? And that was a question that's, I think, it's a legal question, so I asked you to get with him. From the emails, I think you're comfortable with that?
Well, the surety bond, I mean, maybe speak to that, what you got.
The surety
with
bond,
Ivy,
right now, currently, I don't know the exact number, it's 5.5 and some change is what the surety bond is held by the state. And, you know, I can't really speak for what would go forward, but the state would hold that $5.5 million. And as we mine farther, we have to put more bond in, so that bond is going to increase. At the same time, we're asking for small parts of that bond to be dropped as part of the ongoing reclamation, but it's always gonna be, you know, in the several millions of dollars, okay? And, you know, if in the unlikely event the mine was to shut down, then the state would have that money to reclaim that job, okay?
So it would be up to the state on what they did.
But you know, I mean, it just, to me, it would be the most common thing would be, in your scenario, would be to put the road back.
Well, and I will tell you, with what's going on, I have some real concerns with what might go on at the federal level related to coal. But I've heard lately that some pretty high-profile individuals have figured out that this green energy, to get to the green energy they want, it's going to be based on fossil fuel. So that makes me feel a little more comfortable with the coal market.
I would say too, I mean, we, as as the highway department, as the county, we may want to look at that road bond amount in general. It does seem, you know, the surety bond is one thing, but that road bond amount does seem like a pretty low amount. I'm not saying specific to this case, but it does seem like that probably needs to be updated. I mean,
but the
$81,000 is the road bond, I believe. Is that correct?
Pardon me?
81,000.
Yeah, it was right around 80,000, yeah,
And then 240,000.
is the payment, right. And then that's gonna get Chris the money to go ahead and start, as soon as the weather allows, to plow in the tile, so in the spring, he'll be able to come in there and chip and seal 500.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
right?
Get a run around, yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty run around road.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I think I agree with, with the commissioners. Obviously, we got to cause some abrasion for overall gain, and it's never popular because a handful of people experience the abrasion, and then everyone experiences the gain as far as just the economic development. And just looking at 700 East, I mean, I don't know what amount of money would put that road back in. So. That we still have, you know, shut down
Right.
south. But regarding this project, I mean, you guys have been great as far as providing your information. You've worked with us, and I'd be agreeable to go ahead and move forward so we don't hold these guys up.
Does anybody in the audience have anything to speak on behalf of?
I just, my name's Mark Toy, and 700 East really concerns me. You know, it's costing, if I would say right now, it would cost me quite a bit of money. The fact that I go down there, you know, these guys are some of the same ones out there. Mike asked questions, if there is a bankruptcy for responsibility, how long is this gonna be tied up now? On 700 East? You guys can't answer that question.
We don't have a dog in the hunt on 700 East. We have nothing to do with 700
You
East.
don't now.
No, I don't.
I know you don't. Where am I at on 700 East?
That's once again, that would be back to where the state would use the bond money associated with that mine. This company don't have a dog in that hunt. If they would use that money to put the base back, then the county would have their surety bond for that road.
I'm well aware that you don't have a dog in the fight anymore. I just know that it's a different dog.
Yeah. And again,
That's one dog, this is another dog.
and just to jump in here, I guess I don't want to switch this, but it is somewhat relevant. I mean, I don't remember the mine for 700 East, but were you with that mine for?
At the time I was, yes.
Okay, so we entered that agreement, closed that road.
That agreement was long before my time, so I really didn't have anything.
Yeah.
It was before his time,
Yeah.
but
Yep. Yeah, I got it. So the problem is we agreed to close that road whenever we agreed to close. It was before my time
Right,
too.
right.
And now we can't put that road back, right? Or
I mean, once again, that would go back to the state with the bond
Okay.
to put that half a mile, quarter mile, I don't know, it's been so long since
So-
I've been out there.
I think in the future, I mean, not in this meeting, but we
Yeah.
need to have that conversation about 700 East.
that's where I was going. So I think we need to go ahead and put 700 East kind of in the parking lot, so to speak. And Chris and Grant needs to figure that out. But we don't want another 700 East.
And I appreciate that.
So we want to make sure we litigate this as well as possible, because the way you present it, it's very easy. I mean, I trust you guys. I like working with you guys, but then, you know, why is 700 East still not? And that's our problem.
I understand.
But so anyway, two different issues. We just have to be certain that 200 North does not turn into 700 East. And are you comfortable that we have the money in play here, that we can put that back?
The only thing
Worst
I
case-
feel comfortable is the state's holding a $5.5 million bond. Okay?
Okay.
What somebody's gonna do in the future, I don't have a crystal ball to predict that, okay? I know that this company has 2 to 3 more years of coal sales, and per this agreement, they are gonna mine through that road and have it opened in 30 months.
And
That's
that's,
the only thing I know.
when's the clock start?
Well, I'm assuming it would start whenever we sign this agreement.
The 30 months? Okay.
Agreed, Matt?
Yes. Well, I personally think we're far enough down this road, we gotta close that road, and, I mean, I'd still be agreeable to close it.
Yeah.
And then we gotta bring 700 East back on the docket
I
to
think we
figure
need
out.
to start talking about that again. And probably get that on the next commissioners meeting on December the 27th. We can start that discussion over again.
It's been out of sight, out of mind, really, Mark, on 700 East.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For everybody in the audience, it's Mark Toy's the name speaking.
Ed, can you help us on 700 East?
I've got some names and numbers I can give you.
We'll get with Chris, if you would, and Grant.
Yeah, we've got some names and numbers. I mean, I don't know the people, but I've, been on conversations on other things. I've got 2 names and numbers for you guys.
The purpose of the road bond is to put that small
Section of road
piece back.
back together.
But the purpose of the surety bond is to guarantee that there are no issues with DNR in the state, correct?
Right, that's the way I understand the surety bonds, yes. I mean, they hold that so much per acre is what they hold.
Oh, yeah.
And then if, as in Mark's case, when the mine shut down, they've got this bond to do reclamation. But that would be up to the state and the bonding company.
So that, and maybe, one of the things that we are supposed to do as part of a temporary closure is have certain findings. And I'm going to read those to you just to make sure that you're all comfortable and you've asked sufficient questions of him, if that's okay.
Yep.
Okay. This is, and they've put this into their petition, into the road closure agreement. I would say at number 3 here, 30 months from signature is probably what we're going to need to say instead of 33 years from the notice of the road closing. So
Okay, what are you reading, the
it's
decree?
First page, number 3.
Okay,
I think you were saying 30 months from today
right.
is what you need. Okay. The county executive may temporarily close or relocate a road in response to a petition if the executive finds that closing or relocating the road is in the public interest and economic interest. Number 2, the executive finds that closing or relocating the road will not unreasonably interfere with the flow of traffic on the county road system. Number 3, the petitioner has filed with the county executive a surety bond in an amount fixed by the executive payable to the county and conditioned on the payment of damages which the county may sustain or the restoration of the closed or relocated road. Number 4, the plans for the restoration and reconstruction of the road, if the executive elects to have the closed or relocated road restored, are approved by the executive. Okay, so the plans have to be approved. And last, number 5, the executive and the petitioner sign a written document stating the terms of the agreement for temporarily closing or relocating the road. So that's a temporary closure. It's also my understanding that you've mailed your petition out to all the contiguous adjoining landowners here. Correct? I think you said that you did, but I'm just...
What we did, I put the posting in the paper, okay? So to answer your question, no, we have not mailed anything out to the people adjacent to the road. I guess I wasn't aware that had to be done, or if I did, I just plain out forgot it.
I'm comfortable they've met these 5 pieces here, and I understand that the surety bond is in place with the DNR. I would like us, right here it says 3 years and 3 years. I'd like to clarify that that's 30 months from whenever it's approved.
We could clarify that now, because the way I read this, I'm by no means an attorney, but it says within given notice. Could this be the notice, and that would start the clock on the 30 months?
I mean, if that's what you're wanting to do, it still
Don't you
says,
agree with that?
3 years and 3 years.
Yeah. It's however, if you want that one paragraph changed, just whatever we need to do to get this going. The way I read it says we have 30 months beginning on the date of notice. Could this, by the signing of this agreement, could it be the notice to the commissioners?
That would be, I think, the request
Yeah,
Right.
of the body, 30 months from,
Today.
today, yeah, once we sign it.
And
yeah.
we can put that in the agreement, right?
we can. We'll have to modify the physical document. I think it's a PDF.
So we can modify, okay.
I mean,
So we can go ahead and approve it.
I do want to say, I know we've run you guys over the coals, but a lot of us didn't want that road.
Literally.
We didn't want to run you guys.
Lisa was a natural
We
gas.
didn't really want that road closed, 200 North. We could have done that any other way we would have, but at the end of the day, you guys have mined through 350 East and put it back. You
Yes.
guys mined through 350 North and put it back. So
Yes.
hopefully we can stay on the same pace and mine through 200 North and get it put back too. So they have put the roads back
Yeah.
in the past. So
Well, I think the sooner they start, the sooner they finish.
finish,
And,
yeah, get the road back in place and
and I'll still,
everybody's happy
Lord
again.
willing, I'll still be here in 30 months, so. Hey, Dylan, don't make me regret it, right?
We do have, there is a requirement of a mailing of the petition. I thought I'd seen that sent.
Yeah.
this in. So you do need to do that.
All right.
I don't know if you want to do this today. I mean, that has to be done. Your petition has to go to the neighboring contiguous landowners.
Let me make a motion contingent on you mailing that out, and then on the 27th, we can put this back on the agenda.
And then sign
Get those
it.
mailed out.
And what I can bring in the 27 would be the certified mailing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bring that in, and then 27th, we approve it. Because we need to get this thing
We
rolling.
need to, if we're gonna get it done, we need to get it done now, so.
So then are we good with the way this is worded, that paragraph, or do we need to
I
change
think-
that wording?
Make a little bit of modification to that.
That needs to be changed. I mean, if
All
that's,
right.
if it's 30 months from whenever it's signed, that's
Okay,
fine.
that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I could read it either way where this could be, but, you know, since we've got to go back and do this mailing, the cleanest would be to revise that paragraph.
Yep.
And also put in there that that document serves as notice.
Right.
All right. Want to state that motion again, Nathan?
I thought we were tabling it.
Are you gonna table until the 27th now?
Yeah. Can we just do that, or?
That'd be fine. I mean, I think we're all in favor of going forward.
Or approve it based on them doing those actions.
Okay, yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the closure of 200 North contingent on the mailings and the change in the wording, and then we can officially sign it on the 27th.
Well, what I'll do in the meantime, then, I will mail this petition out to all the adjacent landowners, email you guys a copy of the certificate of mailing, and then we'll be back in 2 weeks.
Yep, sounds good. So I got a motion by Nathan Gabhart. I have a second.
Second.
Second by Ron Arnold. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
gentlemen.
guys.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, gentlemen. Hey,
Appreciate
thanks,
it.
guys.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Ed.
You're almost there.
Thanks, Mark. Well, if you want to come back on the 27th, we'll discuss 700 East.
And I'm not opposed to closing the road.
Yeah, I know.
Things that have to be looked at.
It's smart. Yeah.
Yep.
And I also would like to talk to Chris sometime about how they put the road back.
Yeah.
You go look at all the roads out in my area. Why don't they elevate the road 2 to 3 feet?
We'll probably have to in the future. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, tell you when you have to ditch it then.
Yeah.
I mean, my road is already lower than the fence,
Yeah.
and most coal mine roads are. And that's what I'm calling most county roads.
Okay. All right, thanks, Mark.
Appreciate it, Mark.
Thank you, guys. I'll see you on the 20th.
Yep. Thanks. Chris?
And on that, just a little information. When we do upgrade a road and we tile it, it makes a tremendous mess. For years, the county would grade, and we would grade, and then when the roads are thawed or whatever, and traffic runs on the road, and it pushes the subbase out to the ditches, and then the county would come in and they would dig that dirt up out of the ditches, and they would haul it off. So when we've been doing it probably 10 years now, we've changed our philosophy, and we take that dirt, we take the rock off the road, we put the dirt back in the road, we roll the rock back over it, and then when we tile the roads, we take the rock off the road, we tile the road, 3 foot, probably about an 8-inch wide tile, and we put that dirt in the road, and then put the rock back on it and add rock. And it does make a mess, but as what Mark was saying is right. The roads need to come up instead of going down. And when you go out and you see a field this high and a road this
here,
high,
yeah.
then the road starts to be the ditch. We'll probably never gain all that back, but that's what we've been doing. And you know, you got to break eggs to make a cake. And it's not always fun breaking eggs. People get mad, but we do the best we can.
But the cake's always good.
Yeah, the cake's good. The end product's good. You can wait for it to get out of the oven. On the bond issue, I talked to Grant a week or two ago. We had talked about some bonds, and after I was looking at it, which I've never been involved in it before, but I think the bond amounts for the road bonding is too low. I don't know when they were set. They need to be adjusted. just for the sheer fact of inflation. And then we have bonds for coal mines that have went out of service. And that 700 East would be a good one. It's
Yeah, good example.
it's went out of service. We've got a bond on it. The state has a bond on it. The bonds are just sitting there. I think we need to look into them, and there's work that could be done on that road, on Kettlebird Road, on 900 East, south of the highway. That mine there has went out of service. There's a bond on that road to access that mine that they're not using. So there's money sitting there. I think that bond needs to be cashed. That money needs to be used to fix the damages to the road. And then if that mine starts back in service again, then they need to rebond it.
Start over again.
The new company, the old company, it doesn't matter, but it does anybody no good just to have money sitting in bonds and not being applied to their intended use, which is the road.
Yeah, when we open that discussion on 700 East, if you want to get some of those other roads that we need to get back intact again, we could talk about all of them.
Yeah, and 700 East it was a dead end road, and I don't know if it was the last quarter mile or what that had been mined through, and then when the mine left, it just left that there.
Left the whole out.
And I actually brought that to Ed's attention before this meeting. I was telling him about that. I know he may have worked for that company, but I think that the bonding and the agreements were all done before he worked there.
Up there, yeah.
And I said that was something that I wanted to attack and pursue also. And then on other news, I guess, just to put some information out there, the county's working on some plans to get a salt building at our facility with Mr. Arnold's help on that, kind of facilitating getting some prices around and getting us a salt building
Yeah.
instead of using the one down by Taylor Oil.
Much more efficient out there.
Yeah. And then, so we're working on that. I'm working on some equipment that I'll get you guys with the GSA or the Sourcewell to get us a skid loader. We had some trucks ordered that I guess Ford decided not to make, so we've got to move on from there.
We have to rebid that again, or can we use our second bid? Or
I
that's probably ain't viable anymore either.
I would think it's been a year and a half. I would think
They're not viable.
yeah, the prices have changed and they probably want to agree with them.
Yeah.
So I give the company that wanted to bid, I give them the opportunity to rebid a newer truck and see what the difference is, and I've not heard from them yet.
Okay.
But at the end of the year, I'd say we probably have to, I don't know why, but they wrote a check for the trucks. We have a check sitting in the safe, which probably just needs to be voided and start over, is what I would think.
Okay.
Yeah, and to go along with that, I talked to the folks down at Dobson. They had dozens of trucks on order last year that were sold that they could not get. And he anticipates this year being worse, or this next year being worse than this year.
Oh, boy.
It all has to do with the chips
Yeah.
and also the conversion over to electric vehicles.
Yeah.
It's caused an uproar.
Yeah, and our two tandem dump trucks that we've ordered, we agreed to them and we've got them ordered, but the actual order has not been placed yet. They did reassure me just about a week ago that we would get them. So it wasn't an if we would get them, it was a when we were gonna get them. And they're telling me I should have them before next year's winter events. Cause that's the biggest thing when we need them trucks and plows.
Right.
So I'm not gonna have them this year, but I didn't expect to have them this year. And then another thing I'll bring up for topic, we'll have to discuss it in details, the relinquishment of the Business 50.
Yeah.
Going west to Washington, the offer from the state and the work that needs to be done and the cost of the work that needs to be done and the funding that they have in place to do some of the work that's on that road is more than what they're offering to give us to take the road as is.
I think, in my opinion, if we're gonna take that road over, I think the state just needs to rehab the road, get a good product, then we would be more willing to relinquish it back to the county.
Right.
I think the cost is gonna far outweigh to rehab that road, even for the county to rehab that road. It's gonna far exceed the number they gave us. I think it was at 1.5.
Yeah, they offered us $1 million to take the road as is, or they would fix the road and give us nothing. And-
Yeah, and I think having, maybe at the highway meeting, having a deeper discussion on it, because I think we can have a hybrid, because I would tend not to want the state to put it back
At their
according to
standards.
NDOT standards, but maybe give us some money in the middle and let us put it back to our standards. They fix the bridge, let us put the asphalt back to our standards, so we
They would
can
fix that bridge.
make
with-
it more of a county road.
Yeah.
And there's also some drainage issues from Maysville going west that some homeowners are having trouble with.
Yeah.
Need to
That
be
bridge
looked at.
down there, I think that bridge is gonna get really costly in a
Yeah.
hurry, so I
So
mean,
the,
I agree.
the bridge would be all local money, so if we accepted that asset, we don't get any funding for the bridge.
right.
And I think the rehab, I got the bridge report on it and did some investigation on what it would cost to rehab the bridge according to the report on it, or the inspection report, and it was around $900,000.
That's it, that's gonna eat
Just
up,
to
that's gonna eat
rehab
up
the
everything
bridge.
just for the bridge, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think I was happy with taking the road, after even if they resurface the road and everything, we take it for nothing, then,
You got $1 million on a bridge.
yeah. And also the $1 million to take the road wasn't enough, so they did reach out and make it $1.5 million. But, I did some cost estimate on resurfacing the road resurface the road, to mill it, put some intermediate base in it.
Would you pull it back to 20,
Surface it.
would you pull it back to 20 foot if you milled the road up?
I don't know that we could where all them houses, I think would
Houses
cause a
and-
lot of
Well, the
issues.
houses, and then still got a lot of semi-traffic on that road.
Yeah, and the snow removal and everything, that would, if we took that road on, it would be somewhere between 2,200 to 3,000 cars a day with heavy semi-traffic. So that would be the most heavily traveled road that we would have.
Maintain, yeah.
It's got more traffic on it than the Kenneburg Road. Not a whole lot more, but about 500 cars more.
More, yeah.
And then with the Purdue plant there, I believe there's the turkey loadouts are nighttime.
Yeah.
So we currently do snow removal from just before daylight and just after daylight. We don't currently do snow removal at midnight. So that would be something that we'd have to consider. It'd be much more extensive in our efforts to keep the road safe for them semis in the middle of the night that are loading turkeys in and out.
They're, like I said, they're in there out all night long.
Yeah. So I think there's just deeper discussions that we have, and I talked to him about kind of a hybrid. They could resurface it and do some work, but change the specs on it. What we would require is as far as what the state would require. As far as the west side of Washington to 300 West, that goes to GPC, that should be a higher priority of what we do, the width and everything. But then from 300 West to the dead end at the river, maybe we can narrow that down.
Narrow it down some, yeah.
And change it. And I don't know that they acted like they're interested in that, so probably not making friends, but we gotta make the best decision for
The
the
other thing
county.
too, I mean, our specifications for a asphalt section is a lot different than what NDOT's. I mean, we do a lot better job of our sections, cross sections on our asphalt.
Yeah, our asphalt content, our binder is higher, what we make at our plant, than what their specs call for and what they use. We spend a little bit more money on oil in our roads, which
Keeps it flexible, yeah.
keeps it flexible, and that's what makes it last.
I mean, if we're gonna do a hybrid, I would say you guys replace the bridge, and they build the road, then they give us a lump sum of money, whatever it is, and then we would re-asphalt our own road.
Yeah, and I think though that their work that they had planned for the road would be much more extensive than what we would do. Not that it wouldn't be called for, but they probably had a lot more money figured for what they were gonna do.
And they gotta be federal highway standards, right? So it's everything
Yeah.
they do is gonna be above and beyond.
Yeah, so that's something I just need to get it out there, I guess, if anybody hears it and has any questions and wants to look into it, but that's a discussion we need to get. I know they're on a timetable and they're wanting us to make a decision and sign a document and send it back to them. And I know you guys all received the document and Grant got it and looked it over, and I think the document's good, but I don't know.
Document looks good to me. I mean,
I don't know that I'm happy with
if
the.
if you read the
terms.
document, it's fine, but then the terms at the end of the day, and when you, like, I mean, unless you've done some research on that bridge, I had no idea what was gonna cost to rehab that bridge.
Yeah.
$900,000 eats up that 1.5 pretty quick, and then you still got the rest of the road to maintain.
Yeah, when I did a estimate on the roadway itself, not counting the bridge, it was overlaying over the bridge, but it was it was right at $1 million. For us to pay, we don't have a milling machine to do a road
Right.
like that. For us to pay somebody to come mill the road out and put a intermediate binding base in there and a surface on it, is right at $1 million. And that was actually, I did that probably 3 or 4 months ago. And I know this year's prices have changed.
Went up again, yeah.
If they went from $1 million to $1.5 million, I'd let them know they're halfway there.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I thought I'd bring that to you guys' attention. That's really all I've got.
All right, I appreciate it, Chris. You guys, anything else for Chris?
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. All right, next item on the agenda is the farm lease bid, or farm lease 1 and 2, and for advertisement. Grant, do you want to read that for invitation?
Yeah, and I think there's maybe some discussion. Chris, if you hang just a second while we talk about these farm leases. We got number 3, that'll end at the end of 23. This is farm lease number 1 and number 2.
This is at the highway garage.
This
I
is,
get confused with, because we done
This is-
the airport last year, right?
this is, yeah, but this, Jen, we were just talking about this. Number 1 is the highway, or the county home. Okay,
This is for 1 and 2.
1 and 2, so this is,
This should be at the highway garage. There's 2 different spots out there, right? You got Hayfield and then Tillable Field, right, or something like that?
Right, we got, the same farmer does it, that has it, it's right there, it's all together, it's.
Yeah. Well, what's what?
so, and there's some discussion as to whether or not we want to advertise
That's number
all of it.
3.
That's number 3.
Yeah, these
Okay.
2 are fine to advertise. The airport properties, that's next year anyway.
Next year's, yeah. Or 3 years, is 3 year, 3 years, I think.
Oh, okay.
Is it 3? 2 years with an option of the 3rd year?
It's set to expire for farm lease number 3 as of December of '23.
Okay. so
Next
it's
year.
These
this
will all be on the same if we go 1 year on this.
Yeah.
Okay. Proposed farm lease number 1 may be obtained at the office of the Davis County Auditor between the hours of 8 and 4. Each bidder shall include a sealed bid, a bid bond, or a certified check money order payable to Davis County representing 10% of the annual rent bid. E-verify affidavit, non-inclusion affidavit. All bids are final. Commissioners reserve the right to reject any and all bids without reason being stated. Sealed bids must be in the office before 9 a.m. of the next meeting. And we normally would let the current tenants know that this is going out to bid. I do periodically have people just asking, when is this going to go out to bid, so they can make sure that they get a bid in. Obviously, we want more bids versus less. Current bidders are current tenants for farm lease 1 is Flat Creek Farms. Current tenant for number 2 is Keith Graber and Sun Farms. So the request is just to put that out for advertisement.
I'd put out for advertisement, and then maybe if the auditor's office reach out to the tenants right now and just let them know it's going back out for bid.
Okay. Any other comments?
You guys have anything else on that for the
No.
farm lease 1 and 2?
Sounds good.
If we do it for 1 year this time, then we'll have everything on the same rotation. And then, do we want to talk about farm lease 3? I know you had some thoughts, and
No, let's go ahead and wait on that. We're gonna get some more information for you. Have the surveyor meet with the director out there give us a visual of what they're talking about.
Okay.
Wanting,
I know,
so,
because I know the airport wants some land, and then we'll figure out what to do with the rest of the
so
land.
they're working with the county surveyor now to go out and give us kind of a print, and then we can go look at it and see if it's reasonable or not.
Yep. Sounds good.
Good.
Anything else on farm lease 1 and 2? Ron?
Nope.
All right, if not, we'll move on. All right, number 4, we got the amended interlocal agreement with the town of Montgomery.
Yeah, so we've been working with Mike Haley and the town board over there. Obviously, the initial contributions versus the bid price.
Right.
And then now I think they're up to $1 million is what should be in there over a period of time that they'll then pay back the county and it's to the Hume Bridge Fund, so.
Yeah. $1 million for the town, so that brings it down to 2.294 million.
Yep. So everything's still in the works for that. Should be, March of '23 is, and then November is when it should be complete.
Completed,
So,
yeah.
and they've reached out to the school and Hosapo's office, so everyone's on the same page.
Same page,
So
parking lot and the right of ways all good
everything's
shape now.
Yep, everything's good shape. So
Anything else on the interlocal agreement?
No,
with Montgomery?
looks good.
All right. If no other discussion on the the interlocal agreement with Montgomery, I'd look for a motion to approve.
so moved.
Got a motion by Nathan Gabhart,
Second.
second by Ron Arnold. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
May I question on, whenever
Go
it
ahead.
gets brought up, is this something that we need to take to council for the funding, or where are you guys planning on paying this out of for them to reimburse?
Yeah, was it Hume Bridge? Yeah.
I'd say it needs to be on their agenda, if for no other reason, to make sure that they're aware. It's already been signed by the town. They're approving of it. They need to know about it. I think it needs to be on the agenda for informational purposes. To know that it's done. I know a lot of the council members were involved with some of the
Some
discussion.
of that, yeah. Yep.
I'll get it on the council's agenda, and then it's to be paid out of Hume Bridge.
Is that correct?
Yep.
What I would do is put that initial interlocal together with this amendment, just got the full picture.
All right. Anything else on interlocal agreement?
Nope.
All right.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Chris. You can go now. Let you get back to work. All right, we got the Odin Winkleplex Library proposal. Do we have anybody here from town of? Why don't you just state your name when you get up there?
My name is Susan Graber, and I'm
Morning.
Director at the Odin Winkleplex Public Library. The first thing I want to say is I want to thank you, gentlemen, for this opportunity to bring this resolution before you and for your time that you've taken to review it and to consider it. So yeah, I'm here to answer any more questions that you might have concerning it. Or any comments that you would like to make?
Jim, have anything for her?
I don't believe I do, no.
Well, right now, the way I understand it, you serve Madison Township and you want to expand that footprint.
Correct.
Do the citizens that live in that footprint support this?
We have not brought that to the citizens because as the board, we decided that it would be, since we're bringing it to the commissioners, that we would let you take it to the citizens if you wanted to.
I'm not familiar with how that works, so.
It could be done either way. From my understanding from the state, that, yeah, it can be done either way.
I mean, I think it's a good idea, but I don't want to throw something at the citizens or added tax without their approval.
Yeah, so just as a recap, you're looking at adding a tax on the property tax side. Currently, it's in place for Madison,
Correct.
and you're wanting to add the North Daviess School District.
Yes.
So Madison, Van Buren, Bogard, Elmore, and Steele,
Steel, yeah.
those other 5 townships. Okay. Have you contacted any of those town boards?
We have not. Under the advisement, yeah, of other people, we just decided to wait and see what, because we were bringing the resolution to the commissioners, we were taking that route.
What interaction have you had with the school system up there?
The school system, at this point, we do have an agreement with the school that anybody can have a card from the library, but it's very limited. So the services that we give the school is very limited. But we do have an agreement that anybody that's a student or a teacher at the school can have an account at the library and receive a limited.
Do you
limited
track
service.
where your clients come from?
Yes,
And is it all these townships?
yes.
So I've actually never done this either, to raise a tax for something like that, so.
We
I
have
don't-
had, I think Washington reached out in the,
The
Washington
past,
Township reached out in the past, but I don't remember.
it's been a while and
Right forward.
I don't recall that either, how that actually
Once
works.
it's done, you have no control.
Right, I understand that, but, just trying to figure out what the process is, because I think I do remember Washington reaching out and doing something, but it's been too long ago, I don't remember exactly how that transpired.
Yeah, that'd been some time ago. They had reached out, and I think there was just some general pushback as far as get the constituents involved, you know, and then they just kind of dropped it. I think they may have had some other funding sources. I'm not sure.
Do you think the school would support this?
Yeah, well, I think the citizens.
Want to step up to the podium and state your name.
I'm Elizabeth Schaefer. I'm the library board president of the Winkleplex Library. And it might be best if Susan explains the difference between the green card, how the cards work, or what's in place right now, and the access anyone would have to the library. Can you tell them those?
Yes, yeah. So the Odin Library is part of the Evergreen system, which is exactly, I don't know if any of you are familiar with the Washington Library. I know Grant is. We're both part of what is considered the Evergreen Consortium. So in that consortium, we have two different cards that we hand out. If you are a resident of Madison Township, you get a green card, which gives you full access to everything that the library has to offer. So you can get books in from other libraries, and which is, the consortium consists of over almost 130 now libraries, public libraries in the whole state of Indiana. So that's what the green card does. The blue card can be given out if you would be a resident, the blue card is given out if you are a student at North Daviess or a teacher at North Daviess. And that just gives you access to what we have at the Odin Library. If you want more than the blue card, but you do not live in Madison Township, you can pay what's considered what we call a non-resident fee. So anybody in those other townships can come in and can pay for a non-resident fee, which is $25. That's what our fee is. It's different. Different libraries have different fees for their non-resident fee. But with that, we have people coming in, and I'll just want to state this. We have people come in, and when we say that, no, we can't give you a card unless you pay $25, they turn around and go back out the door. If it's the idea that $25, being too much right at one time, and so they see it as something big that they just can't handle.
As a resident of Madison Township, because this is an evergreen system, not all libraries are in the evergreen system, but it's fortunate that the Washington Carnegie Library is in the evergreen system. So I also have full access to that library too. I can get books there and actually even return them to the Odin Library if, where I was when I wanted to return the book. And part of the reason we wanted to do this was there are townships in our county that aren't served by a public library. And the programs in a small library that Susan runs are incredibly beneficial. She has provided so much through that library system. And it's available, but not available to everybody in the North Daviess school system, which, the technology also that we've been upgrading. We've been doing a lot of upgrades at the library, a lot of improvements. And a top-notch facility. We wanted to share it with more people.
That is our bottom line, is to serve the people of Davis County. That's why we're there. That's all, that's our top goal, is to serve as many people in Davis County as we can. And this is being at the north, being as this is the North Daviess community, that's where we wanted to go. We want to be able to give the people of the North Daviess community and the North Daviess community schools the best service that we can.
As far as like internet service that at the library in Odin, this would also make it where we could have the library open more hours and be available to people. Because as it stands, they, between Susan and the Daviess County Master Gardener Program, there is a internet area behind the library when it's not open, and it's got a very nice covered picnic table area. It's really beautiful, and the Master Gardeners have put gardens in around it, and many people go and they'll sit in the parking lot and they would use that. My kids did it in high school.
Access the internet.
If they needed the internet in high school going to North Daviess and the library wasn't open, they would go sit in the parking lot because you can get the internet there. And people still do that, but now they have a beautiful, lovely place to sit. A lot of people there to use that. So, you know, it would just increase a lot of the things that Ms. Graber can serve.
Your current budget looks like it's 81.5, and this would increase the budget to 185. And you're open 25 hours, you would increase that to 42. And
The 42 is only, that's only an estimate. We can do more than that. But that was kind of just my starting point of where I could go.
So what's your current open hours right now, and then?
What they are,
Yeah.
on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're open from 12 to 6. Wednesdays and Saturdays, we're open from 9 to 1. And then Friday is 12 to 5. We're closed on Sunday and Monday.
You're wanting to do more of a 40-hour week being open?
Yes, we would be open at least, I think that 42 would come up to at least 8 hours, 5 days. No, that wouldn't come out quite right, but somewhere around. And then we have to be open 4 hours. Standards, the library standards, we have to be open at least 4 hours on a weekend. So we have to stay open at least 4 hours on Saturday. And I'm not sure how I figured up those other two to come up with the 42. But I also know that we would be open later, probably at least one night during the week, like on a Tuesday night or something. We would be open until 8 instead of 6. So we would extend those evening hours for more people to be able to come in.
Would it be something you could say about what Shoals did similar? Wasn't it the Shoals library system? And similar proposals.
I don't have an issue with it, to be quite honest. I think most libraries are greatly underutilized. And if this gets you to where more use, and at the end of the day, you get more money, hopefully you can do more things with it. But when you look at the numbers, I would hate for the citizens of North Daviess not to have that potential. So I would be in favor of it. What do we need to do on our?
That's why I don't know either. I mean, I don't know how we need to, right? Do we need to advertise this and have people have a?
Yeah, I mean, it's this is definitely one of the tough decisions. I mean, being a commissioner for 8 years, I mean, I don't want to read too much into your statements, but obviously it's sometimes that's what we have to do. And generally, when people do not reach out to the other governing bodies, it's because they're afraid of what the answer is going to be when they do. And unfortunately, this is a service that not too many people utilize, you know, by choice. But it's a service that we really need available because it's $2 a month and people aren't currently utilizing it. So that's a consumer choice that they're making. That's probably not financially driven in most cases. We just have to be mindful because obviously we will be getting an immediate request from Washington Carnegie Library in the subsequent year or so. It depends on how we move forward with this. So really, we're making a county-wide decision here. And I know when Washington reached out, and that's been 6 years ago, so I'm a little foggy. I'm just like, look, down in Reeve Township, we're not going to drive to Washington and visit the library. You know, or if you do, you pay $30 to do that. So to make all taxpayers pay for it, to me, just didn't seem like the right thing to do at that time. Definitely not one that I'm gonna fight over by any means. Personally, I wish you would have done a little bit more due diligence to reach out to the town boards and the school to get a letter of support. And I think that's probably what I would ask, is if all four township boards or town boards, say no, and they're representing their citizens, then it's kind of hard for us to say yes. I don't, if that makes sense. We can always override them. So again, it's not one I guess I just want to set a precedent for future requests that we need the homework kind of done. And, if your citizens tell us that they want it, then this is an easy decision. But right now, we're not getting a ton of information regarding that.
It was, I mean, our method was not because we thought the townships would say no.
Mm-hmm.
That had nothing, that's not what it was. And far as being a countywide.
So what was it?
What was it?
Yeah.
It's just simply because it was an option just to come directly to you, and so that was the board's
And I
decision.
appreciate that's probably what I would have done too if I was in your
So
would it
wasn't because we didn't.
Would it be
That's not because we were afraid of what the township trustees would say. That wasn't.
Would it be problematic if you reached out to them to get?
No.
Okay.
Get a letter of
It would
support.
make our decision a lot easier. I mean, I don't think we're a hard no or a.
I'm not a hard no, but I
For
just,
sure,
like I said, I definitely want to reach out to the citizens and make sure, or the town boards, whoever, just to get some feedback.
Because we are going to be taking $104,000 out of their pockets, and they can't spend that somewhere else. So we are diverting economic development to this. So we just want to make sure that there's an ROI and that it's going to be utilized and that there's a desire for it. But I do think it is an essential resource that I think we need to have available in our county. So that's kind of
It's
that's
definitely,
good for you guys.
it's definitely a need. I know, even just speaking on behalf of the internet, I mean, we're still a rural county and there's a lot of kids out there
Yeah.
that can't access internet from their house. So, I mean, if that's one viable option, it's a good resource.
It's a great resource, and I did call a couple of days ago, and then they were transferring me, and then I got another call that I had to take, and then 3 days later, here I am, so I apologize about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would just comment, though, about, you said a couple years down the road, getting a request from Washington. I understand, and I believe you probably will. But it would be, ever since I took over director, which has been about 6.5 years ago, I was like, why is our county not served? So it's always been a burden of mine to know that that so few of Daviess County citizens are served by a library. I will give a plus for Washington. Carnegie, they are already much bigger than what we are. If they were to pull in the rest of the townships, they would have the means to put a branch. I mean, this would be my opinion. They would have more of a means to put a branch somewhere out in the community.
And I guess, and again, I don't want to be argumentative.
But
I
whether
really-
they would want to or not, I have no idea.
I really
But they would-
appreciate the
that would be-
product, but when you say the county's not being currently served, I mean, for $2 a month, they could be served. So the counties, they're choosing not to be served, but the resource is available to them. But if we can make it more available, that's even better.
Yeah.
But the resource is there for a very $25. I mean, good hats off to you guys for keeping that fee so low. But if you could provide some letters of support or emails or whatever, it's the easiest.
Okay.
And we can put it back on the agenda.
And then, for the 27th. Yeah, we put it on the 27th agenda.
And then that'd be the same request we'd have for any other libraries who come down the pipeline. But really appreciate your efforts on this. Yeah.
Letters of support from trustees, businesses, the
Yeah.
general
Just
population,
general.
anybody you can think of.
So
Family
it doesn't
members.
necessarily, so you're not saying any reference necessarily from any, doesn't necessarily have to be from the trustee board?
I would prefer it be the governmental bodies who represent
Okay.
those constituents. However, if
But
it's
you got
problematic,
businesses, yeah.
definitely the school. But the more governmental entities who say, yes, I support this, then it's a no-brainer.
Okay,
Well, and some of your larger businesses will pay a larger share of this, so reach out
Right.
to them.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, you sure will. Thank you so much,
All right,
Sharon.
thanks,
Thank you very
ladies.
much.
Great job.
We'll put that on the December 27th meeting, if that's all right with you. Guys,
The meeting's getting full.
yeah, I know, we're just gonna, so Ray, if you wanna add that to the December 27th meeting. Let's revisit everything, right? All right, we got the surveillance policy. Dale?
And down there.
Morning, Dale.
Not much has changed on my desk on this, I guess, since our last meeting when Nathan and Ron wanted me to get it out to everybody and then get it back on the agenda here. I think maybe I talked to Grant a little bit this morning, and he was wanting to talk maybe after the meeting today, and he may have some topics he wants to bring up in the meeting today regarding some of his concerns and how we're gonna move forward.
Yeah, we want to have a transparent public records environment. And so I just thought that Access to Public Records Act may come into play with some of this. So I just want to think through that with Dale and maybe with Michael to make sure we're putting forward a policy that makes sense.
Everybody?
I don't have any issues with the other policy, really. I mean, it's jargon
Yeah.
to me, and we need a
We're
policy.
talking the information security policy now,
We need a,
one that's thick one.
we need a policy that makes sense so that we can limit the likelihood of some sort of a cyber event. And it sounds like you're constantly thinking about this and dealing with this, and this security policy you're comfortable with.
Hey, he's gotta deal with it every day.
Yeah. Well, I think, you know, we got two sides to this, and does get obviously complex. I mean, we got the IT internet user side, and we've got the video, the public request side.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, if someone comes in from the public and they want the video of today's video, is our local statute updated? Because that would be just a public record request, I would think, just like a document. So we just need to make sure that there's a process that has to be followed if there's any request. There's really kind of two sides to it, and if we need to kind of take it in bite sizes just to get this thing moving.
To me, the the surveillance policy should actually probably be right inside this security
Yeah.
policy when it's all done. This one was just the one that was brought up specifically, so we started on this one, and then once I started getting it together, it was, well, all these other things fit with it, so I ended up with 200 pages.
I'd recommend that Dale work with Grant,
Grant.
and when they get something flushed out, bring it back
Back
to
to
us,
us, yeah.
once they're comfortable with it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Next meeting?
That'll work?
No,
Not the next meeting. Wait till January on that one. But no, if you and Dale, if you and Grant want to work together on that, and if you guys have any questions or
'Cause I don't know when our cybersecurity insurance renews, but we really need these in place before
yeah.
I start answering those questions again.
Yeah, but we probably could put it in the first meeting in January. Probably a good time for it.
Okay.
no, not the first meeting. That meeting's like packed,
Okay, maybe the second meeting.
right?
It is.
Remember that is.
Yeah,
I
it's,
think
we
if
got,
we get it in by the end of January,
and why don't we do it the
Yeah.
second meeting in January?
And then
Because the first meeting is always pretty hectic.
That's
It's- Yeah.
There will be a lot of back channel communication. I mean, reach
Yeah.
out
You
to
want to
Michael
reach
and-
out to me, and if you guys
Yeah.
get a work session together, I could be there.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right,
right,
thanks,
thank you.
Dale. I appreciate it. All right, we got the resolution to conduct a commissioner sale. Grant, you want to speak on that behalf a little bit, just so everybody's aware of what's going on?
Yeah. So this is a resolution establishing the intent to conduct a commissioner's sale to sell tax sale certificates for properties that are severely delinquent in payment or property taxes. So these have been through the cycle multiple times. If you look at your document, you've got 2 pages, one of which is the Dillon property that has been talked about in these in a couple of meetings, I believe.
Right, it has, yeah.
What happens with a certificate sale is SRI conducts that for us, and they need this resolution to make that happen.
Start it, yeah.
Do you want me to read the resolution?
And if you want to, real quick, just.
How about I read the resolved portion?
That'd be fine, that'd be good enough.
So, it goes through the end of code provision and then says, therefore be it resolved by Davis County Board of Commissioners that the county executive shall acquire liens and receive tax sale certificates of the properties listed right here. 1, 2, 3, 8 properties. They are severely delinquent and sell. They are severe. There's a typo in here. They're severely delinquent, and they're going to sell said certificates at a properly advertised commissioner tax certificate sale. Excuse me. Easy for me to say. So we do this annually unless there's a reason not to do it. Jen, I don't know if you had any comments about any of these.
At the last meeting, you guys did approve for us to go ahead on with the tax sale. It's just we need the resolution for them to be put in place to go ahead and to move forward. And you guys did set that minimum bid at $100.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, everything else looks good. You gentlemen have any more questions on the resolution?
No.
If not, I'd like to get a motion to approve the resolution 2022-5, a resolution establishing the intent to conduct a commissioner's sale to sell tax sale certificates for properties that are severely delinquent in payment for property taxes. For a motion.
So moved.
Got a motion by Nathan Gavhart. Second. Second by Ron Arnold. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Motion carries. All right, we got 2023 buggy fees.
Yes.
I know Nathan's, this has always been Nathan's
Yeah.
job of working on this.
Yeah, I'm ready to hand it off. So we had some good meetings with the Amish Safety Committee a month or so ago, variety of topics. Chief Deputy Sturgis, Sheriff Allison, myself, Chris, we're all there. So one of the topics is always the buggy permits, the utilizations. And the good news is the number of buggy permits continues to increase gradually. We currently bring in approximately $220,000 in buggy fees. That's up from like $140,000 maybe 5 or 6 years ago. So, so what we wanted to do, so two things. One, we ran the numbers, showed some cost of the Amish area specifically on the roads and the cost of the impact of the horse and the horseshoe. Obviously, we all know that a 2,000-pound object and a piece of carbide metal is not good for asphalt. And we're trying to create more of a user's tax,
Right.
so to speak. So, so basically, I'll cut to the end. We suggested a $125 buggy fee for next year.
Was that $50?
That's up $50. They were agreeable. The numbers we showed a much higher fee would have been very rational,
Right.
but we felt that was too big of a jump.
Jump all at one time, yeah.
So they were agreeable to increase it to $125. They did ask on the school pony carts that the kids take to schools,
Right.
short distances, ponies, no
Lot smaller, yeah,
shoes.
a lot smaller horses.
Could we keep that at $75? There was a general agreement that sounded reasonable. And then that kind of led me down this rabbit trail of, okay, what's the permits look like and how do we do that? So been working with a local vendor. These are just a couple of samples. Currently, this is the size of the license plate. It's a sticker. I personally liked the boat sticker mentality where this thing gets stuck on and then
Can't remove it.
there's
Yeah.
no removing it.
No transferring.
Yeah, there's no transferring. This can just go on the slow moving vehicle sign right behind the buggy.
One question on that permit there,
Yeah.
just so it doesn't get peeled off and re-adhered, can we get a void sticker?
You can, and it's extremely expensive.
Is it? Okay,
Because
that's what I was asking.
I had them build the void, because currently with our license plate, we have about an inch by inch void when you tear it off. So they price it based off square inch of the permit. I guess maybe you could have just one little section up there. But their thought is, once this is adhered, it will stick to the same surface for like 7 years. But if it's removed and tries to be reattached, it will peel off. So there is still that risk involved. For instance, these cost like 60 cents. I mean, they told me, look, we're not even going to bid the tamper because it's going to be so cost prohibitive.
Right.
So I don't know if that's $10 or $20, but theoretically we could, but you're gonna really increase your cost.
We could start with that, and if we have trouble in the future, then we can look into something else.
Yeah, I'm thinking once you transfer this once or twice, it's no longer going to
It'll be
stick to the
usable.
service. But we can look at that. This will not be, 5 years from now, this won't be exactly what we're doing.
Right,
I
right.
can assure you of that. So this is the buggy sticker that we could potentially use. They'd all be color coded based off the year, so that the deputies could see it at a distance. It is a $500 fine if you don't have one. Now, on the pony carts, we thought, well, it'll be the same color, so
Yeah. it won't be-
disregard,
Yeah, disregard the colors
just
there.
like our license, our boat tags.
Yeah, you see the color from a distance, so you know what it is.
So I needed to be a different shape, just
Yeah.
because from they're gonna be the same color. We can free text anything we want here. I just literally typed this on there. I told them what to type. So it says school pony cart, no shoes. So this can go, I wanna be extremely clear
Clear, no
on
shoes.
what these go on, so that there's no confusion, because these would be $75.
This would be cheaper, a cheaper version, yeah.
So this would be cheaper version. So if these are on the big buggies, and I told him after 1 year, if we see these on the big buggies, we're doing away with these, and everyone gets one of these. And then the lost permits fee would be the 125 and 75. Currently, there's like a $25 or $10 lost sticker fee. So if you lose your sticker, you go back in and you pay $10 and you get a new one. Well, is it a new one, or is that going on the second buggy? Again, we trust them, not insinuating anything, but it makes it easier. We want to be fair, and they should pay the same fees that we pay if we go in and we have a lost permit fee. So the suggestion is we go to a school pony cart and a regular buggy permit, 125 and 75, and then if you lose them, you pay the same amount. They'll be color coded each year, because I'm seeing less and less license plates on buggies.
I am too.
They're just taking the sticker and putting the sticker on their buggy somewhere. So at least with this, we're gonna have a more visible,
Visual, yeah.
and then we don't have to worry about ordering new plates or anything. So, we'll probably spend about 60 hours with this, because apparently we're with some Amish coalition, 7 counties in Indiana. We order them from Virginia, and it was a labyrinth to figure out who. Anyway, I'll spare you of all
Yeah.
that. So the proposal is,
Yeah.
and I did send them a letter that they were going to send out to their constituents. I have not heard any feedback. It's been a month ago. So that'd be the suggestion. We increase the buggy permits to 125, implement a school pony cart with no shoes permit of 75, and we'll see how it works. And these are easily changeable.
Yeah.
If we see that.
I like the idea of that sticker being a sticker, more like you said, more like a boat tag or
Yeah.
TV tag or whatever we're using. So the color coding would be a lot
Oh,
more visible.
sure. Oh, there he is. What color is that? Oh, perfect. See, it works.
He's not colorblind.
Now, if you ask what year that is, yeah, you can't. Yeah, that year's harder to see, but the color coding is just going to really allow.
Right, and we get behind them at 6, and he's with glasses, I'm like,
Yeah.
It's hard to read.
I like the idea of that. Really, really good. So.
Okay. So the Amish, the safety committee, I mean, obviously no one likes a new tax, but Chris did a phenomenal job just doing the case study.
The damage it makes me sick anymore, especially when we pave a new road, and then within a week it's shined up, unbelievable. I mean, but you can just see the damage on it. It's always there, right? But when the asphalt grays, you don't see it as bad. But on a brand new blacktop, it just shines it up. Just within a week's time, it turns it gray. So.
And this probably should bring in an additional $100,000. So we'll go from a 209 to maybe 310, 315 is what we're.
Help maintain those.
And they know there's still a gap. There's still a gap there.
There's still a gap there, 100%.
That's a long way from where you started.
Yeah.
Long way from where we started, so.
I'd be agreeable with the $125 and then going to a sticker other than a metal license plate just to. But I guess once we switch that over to a.
what was it that we paid?
Oh, yeah, so it was just for the gas tax.
Yeah.
So all in, I mean, we paid like $295 all in for permit, excise, gas tax. To drive a motor vehicle, all in is about $290 for a normal car.
Yeah.
So right now, they're paying 125.
Yeah.
And I said it should be about three, they should pay more than a vehicular
There's more
motorist
damage out
based off
there.
damage,
Damage, yeah.
theoretically, but.
But, are we gonna implement this for, I mean, is
This
this
is
for,
right.
for 2023,
Yeah,
right?
it's ready to roll. Yeah, we did order the other stickers. We'll eat, $600 or $700 for those other stickers, but we're gonna make,
Yeah, it'll pay
100,000.
for itself, yeah.
It'll need to amend the ordinance, and, I mean, just a thought, you might just get this on the agenda similar to a lot of annual things to revisit, to see if it makes sense, what the amount's at, because we have
And we probably revisit probably the first
closed
of
the,
November every
closed the
year.
gap over a period
yeah,
of
we
time.
meet with the Amish. We have once or twice a year on the safety committee, so this is a standing item, so we can definitely keep it as a recurring. It needs, the first meeting in December, it just needs to be a recurring buggy fee evaluation.
So those buggy plates, I forget how it is, but are those, when are those renewed every year? Is it in
In
January? In May, okay.
Typically, when the property taxes are due, May
Okay.
10th is when, or it's in the ordinance, but it's when the first installment of the property tax is due. And it was thought, to be more convenient for them.
Yeah.
But most of them, we can mail these now,
I'm ready to go.
I
You
had
can
a,
start purchasing after January 1 for our books purposes.
Okay.
We don't allow sales before then.
And so it's a local firm that makes these, so within 6 days, 7 days, you can have.
Have the stickers.
well, maybe this needs to be effective the 1st of January, or some date certain.
So effective January 1st, I think would be good, and then every December, we just set the next year's
Here's
rates.
rates, yeah.
Okay, so I would, make a, or actually, I guess you gotta entertain a motion first, but.
Well, I'd like to clarify that the no shoes refers to the horses, not the driver, right?
True, true. I do have a little bit more room on here. It's,
No,
we laugh.
no horseshoes, that's what you need to put on there.
Never take anything for granted.
We laugh now, but we,
You better put horse in the middle between the no and
I'll
the
put
shoes.
no horseshoes.
There you go.
But it's a pony.
No pony shoes.
Oh dear Lord.
And the difference, so I'm clear, four-wheel buggy.
So,
Cool or not.
sorta. That's where we started at. The problem with that is that it's all about the horse, not the buggy. And that's where this gets a little complicated. At the end of the day, we'll simplify it based off what you see. But when we left that meeting, we said, okay, 2 wheels is this, 2 axles is this, 1 axle is this.
Yeah,
But
but
then I
that-
went to Biking Mart and I
And they
see
got a little pony cart with 4 wheels.
I see 2 or 3 pony carts with a horse on it that the grown men are driving. I'm like, well, it's the horse causing the issue. So that's why I put school pony cart with no shoes. So if that becomes problematic, we'll change
We'll
it.
change it, yeah.
But, because yeah, that's where it gets a little gray. But I thought, well, we'll figure that out.
We'll start with that. It'll be better than what we got. so.
Better than what we got. We'll tweak it as we go.
Yeah.
Good luck to you guys out there.
So we need to update the ordinance.
So
That's a school bus, right?
that's why I put school, pony cart, no shoes. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. It's not perfect.
All right, you got a motion on how you want to change that?
I'll make a motion to increase the buggy fees to $125 and to also add a school pony cart with no shoe fee of $75 while changing the lost and replacement fee to the normal fees,
$75.
$75 and
Then we're
$125.
going to a sticker.
Yep, they're moving it to the sticker.
Got a motion by Nathan Gabhart,
Second.
second by Ron Arnold, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thanks, Nathan.
Oh, thank
and
you, guys.
Safety committee for getting all that taken
Oh,
care of.
these guys are great to work
So
with.
I appreciate it.
And we did let the entire community know that we are gonna have it on today's agenda,
So,
in case they wanted to.
yeah, the viewer be here. All right, we got the,
Today is December 12th, right?
yeah, something like that. Don't mess me up, because sometimes I get confused.
He's joking, yeah.
He is joking, December 13th. Oh, boy. 2023 not-for-profits documents. Gentlemen, have a chance to look these over.
Yeah, I think we got those all corrected.
They look like they're the.
They look like what we discussed back in
It
June and
is,
July.
yeah.
'Cause
I
the
know
number-
we've moved one of those out of there, red door got moved out of there on a different line. No, it's back in there. Yeah, so it's all in there then.
Okay.
So we got 101,000 rewards and we got requests 147.4, right?
Yeah, but then we lowered those.
Yeah, so everything looks good to me on that. Do we need a motion on these right now, or is this for the next first of the year?
We probably need to make a motion.
Motion on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Looking for a motion to approve the 2023 not-for-profits documents. And I'll just read them real quick. Make sure these are right real quick before I read it. Daviess County 4-H Club, $15,000 from the commissioners. Senior and Family Services, $12,000 from the commissioners. I guess it'd be commissioners and council. Four Rivers, $19,000 from commissioners and council. RSVP, $7,900 from commissioners and council. Connections, $2,500, commissioners and council. Daviess County Historic Society, $40,000 from commissioners and council. Ride Solutions, $7,500 from commissioners and council, and Daviess County Fair at $6,000 from commissioners and councils on that. So look for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Got a motion by Nathan Gavhart,
Second.
second by Ron Arnold. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. I'm just keeping you busy today, Nathan. Got courthouse renovation updates.
Yeah, just real quick on that. We're a lot of work's been done. We've got a meeting with all the department heads tomorrow afternoon, meeting with each department head individually. RQAW, Garmong's coming down, and then Councilman Schaefer, Holder, and Meredith will be there. Again, we just want their general blessing on just really the confinements of their department, and then what goes inside of it, they can figure that out. But the footprint is really, we gotta get just some verbal buy-in that, hey, this footprint's going to work for you space-wise. So we're there with most of the department heads, so they did a few more tweaks, so we're gonna be meeting with them tomorrow. And this will be probably one of the final meetings we'll have, and then we'll be ready just to kind of turn it back over and say, okay, here's the general layout.
Yeah.
They are gonna have some budgetary numbers for us at some point to look at, but then we'll have a joint meeting again when they're ready to do that, and then
Make a decision then.
yeah, so nothing's like finalized.
We're getting close, yeah.
Plenty of time to talk about it. The numbers that we're hearing are much more,
In line.
much better. And then they're including all in, HVAC, the windows,
Tuck point, everything.
tuck point, the entire project. So we've got an hour scheduled with each department head tomorrow, starting at 1. We'll get some last comments, because this will be the third meeting that we've had with them.
Yeah.
Maybe fourth, and then we'll be ready to, it won't be perfect. We're not gonna have 100% buy-in from everybody. But I think we'll have a good enough consensus to put a product out there.
Yeah.
So, and then you guys will have, I didn't want to involve too many people too soon with
No,
all these,
I'm good. Just
the
get it-
desk facing this way versus that way. and
As
all
long as
that.
we get it down to what the numbers is, so we know what the budget is, then that's fine. I don't need all the details right now.
We're close, so
So,
But-
that's good.
that's the update.
Okay. I do have one thing for the commissioners real quick. I've got a couple complaints on this building, especially the second floor. I think we're having expansion contraction issues when we go from fall to winter, or maybe summer to fall, and then from winter back to spring. Get some popping noises in the roof of this building. So I did reach out to RKAW just to see if we could get a structural engineer just to maybe take a look into it. I'm gonna try to coordinate with Rodney and Scott just to make sure. I just want to make sure it's not a structural issue, it's more of a
Yeah, sure.
just a change of temperature. And I just don't want something to happen in the future for the building, so I'm just gonna have them look into that.
Okay.
So that's all I had on the annex.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, have anything else for anybody?
I do not.
Anybody in the public have anything? If not, I'd like to look for a motion to pay payroll, pay claims, and adjourn.
So moved.
Had a motion by Nathan Gavhart,
Second.
second by Ron Arnold. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Motion carries. Thanks, everybody.
So Nate, your meeting tomorrow, you
Yeah.
don't need us there.
No, none of this one. But then going forward, I just sent you the documents.
Okay.